Welcome to the treehouse. Alright guys, so we did have a blockbuster trade last night between the Cincinnati Reds and the Cleveland Indians, my favorite team. So this is kind of from my Indians perspective, and it was a wild night last night. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I first seen this reported around 10 o'clock. I started seeing some tweets get out, and then Kevin Rosenthal from the MLB Network came out with this official tweet here. Reds giving up Franmil Puig to get Bauer. Indians getting Reyes and Logan Allen in return. Padres to get Taylor Trammell. So yeah, and then I seen Jeff Passan from ESPN break it down completely. These were all the pieces involved. Now, so just to break it down, so give you guys a visual, the Indians are going to go ahead and get Yasiel Puig, major power hitter from the Reds, and they're also going to get Scott Moss, the left-handed pitching prospect who's in Double-A from the Reds. And then from the Padres, the Indians are going to go ahead and get Franmil Reyes, excuse me. He's got 27 home runs and like over 40 RBIs this year. Just been a beast, the heart and soul of the Padres organization. And I know a lot of Padres fans are upset about this. So I'm really excited as an Indians fan to get Franmil Reyes and plug him into the lineup. He'll go in between 4 and 6 in the lineup. That's really going to work out well for us. Now, we also got Logan Allen, a big left-handed pitcher from the Padres. He has been a very good in Triple-A. They brought him up to the major league this year. He's made about 5 or 6 starts, and he's like 2-3 with a 6 ERA, 6.75 actually. So maybe that's a guy the Indians send to AAA, work on him for a little bit. And the Indians are very good at developing pitching prospects. So maybe he's a guy that comes up later in September call-ups and maybe stays and take Bauer's place in the future. Who knows? But he's a big left-handed pitcher, which is what we needed. And lastly, we also got a prospect named Victor Nova, third baseman, from the Padres too. So these middle three guys are all from the Padres, and the first and last guy is from the Reds. So Victor Nova, just a prospect. I believe he's like single A, transitioning to double A kind of deal. He was batting like 280, I think. So just a future guy, mainly a throw-in. So now the big pieces here that got thrown around to the Reds and the Padres. The Reds got Trevor Bauer, who in my opinion is a top 5 pitcher in the league. Just as of lately, there's been a lot of emotions going on in the Cleveland dughouse with him throwing the baseball over and Cookie Carrasco getting leukemia. I mean, Bauer's went through a lot this year, and I really think him chucking the ball over the center field wall in Kansas City was the final straw. So yeah, but the Reds are definitely getting a good pitcher. He does go into arbitration next year, and he's going to command about $20 million, which is why the Indians traded him, because they're not going to be able to afford him. Now, the Reds may be able to afford him, or like Girardi from the MLB Network or ESPN, I've seen him on both. Like he's been saying, they might flip him here today before the deadline actually happens here. So this could be a very interesting move for the Reds if they can get the trade Puig and Scott Moss and maybe get potentially more back for Trevor Bauer. I don't know. But if they do decide to keep Bauer, maybe they trade him in the offseason and you just get an ace for the rest of the season. I mean, they are like 6 games back, so it's not like they're completely buried like some teams, but they're definitely on the far edge of contending for a playoff push. But we'll see with this Bauer trade and what that can do for them. And here's the Padres' perspective, which I don't really get. The Padres get Taylor Trammell, who's the Reds' top prospect, like number 30 prospect, the 30th prospect in the league. Really good outfielder, don't get me wrong, but he's probably still like a year away. Maybe the end of the year. At the end of the year, they can bring him up. Taylor Trammell is a guy, you gave up a lot for him. You gave up Franmil Reyes, middle of the order guy, one of your top pitching prospects, and then a lower level prospect too, all for Taylor Trammell. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me from the Padres' perspective. I think this was more of them trying to get involved in a trade and get their foot in the door, let alone actually acquiring pieces. Now, I guess the Padres are thinking Franmil Reyes, maybe he peaked, and maybe this is it, and this is the best they're going to see, and they think Trammell is going to be a borderline Hall of Famer. I don't know. Didn't really make a whole lot of sense, because Franmil Reyes is a really good piece, and I know that he was beloved in San Diego. So I'm extremely excited to get him as an Indian. Now, let's go see what happened right after all of this went down. See if I can find it here. Alright, so here we go. This is probably 20 minutes after Yasiel Puig gets traded. He's still in the game.
And now Garrett's on his way to the
and
dugout.
As you can see here, a big fight breaks out.
Go. Oh! Garrett goes in there punching. This is not a good scene at all.
video courtesy there of Fox Sports Ohio. And yeah, and then later in this video, I don't got all the clip of it because it was such a long event, but you'll see Puig gets involved here too. And this is why he's a property of the Cleveland Indians. He's not even a Cincinnati Red anymore, and they still haven't taken him out. Just fast forwarding here to get to the Puig part. You see Puig's going to get very much involved here. Here's Puig just getting into it. So yeah, Yasiel Puig ends up getting suspended for all, or not suspended, but ejected. Him, Amir Garrett, and a couple others. There was like 4 or 5 guys that got suspended. So what I'm curious to see is how this affects the trade, if the MLB will let this slide or if the Indians are going to start raising heck or what. So this is going to be very interesting to me the rest of the day. So yeah, guys, from an Indians perspective, you never want to see a guy get in a fight, especially a guy you just traded for. So I'm curious to see how this is all going to pan out for the Indians, the Reds, and the Padres. But if this trade does stick, and there's a very minimal suspension for Yasiel Puig, I think this is a great move for the Cleveland Indians. Now, if a big suspension is put on Puig, then this might fall through. So we'll have to see what the future holds for both the Indians and the Reds. But hopefully you guys like this trade breakdown. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.